What's popping, y'all? Welcome back to Cheap Seats Podcast. I am the NFL genius. And in the upper left corner, I got the man that runs the ones and twos, the production prince of the Sports Empire Network, Kyle Edwards. How you feeling, Kyle?
I'm good. Interesting weekend in the NFL, and we got plenty of great topics for today. So I'm ready to get started.
Oh man, great topics. Great topics.
Yes,
Coming
absolutely.
back to us right above me, my man has got the white background. Brian, he's been on the Cheap Seats podcast since day one. You'll see him. He's going to be doing podcasts every day of the week. He just signed 3 new shows. I'm kidding. How you feeling, Brian?
Hey man, it's Monday. Can't complain.
No, definitely not. Barbershop talk. Cheap Seats
Yes.
podcast, baby. And to my left or my right, depending on how you're looking at us, you got a look at him. He's smiling so
Oh,
hard.
may y'all notice, man, the haircut?
Oh, how can you miss it? Big J, JJL, Jordan Jean Lewis, Jordan Jean Louis.
Jean Louis, like French Jean Louis.
Oh, I got you. Don't correct me.
Say it, Jean Louis, not Jean Louis. There you go.
There you go. What's popping, Jordan? How you feeling tonight?
Doing good, man. Had a couple good NBA games, a couple good NFL games. Got the big one coming up in 2 weeks with Pro Bowl next week or this week, right? And then the Super Bowl next week.
A
So.
flag football game? Come on, bro. We talking about that.
Maybe Lamar will play in that game. No,
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm doing good, brother.
I figured you'd be doing good. I mean, the Lakers had a huge win versus Boston. Obviously, that was awesome. Oh wait, they didn't win that game. Got it. My bad.
Jesus Christ, man.
Look, bro, you got to know who I am. I'm Jilly from Philly. But we got a lot to talk about today, and we got some big topics for you today. The chat can help us out with some extra ones if we get there. But I want to start with Brian's this week. I looked at them all, and Brian seemed like a perfect opener, like something that we could talk about as far as to start the show. So, Brian, why don't you hit us off with your question?
All right. So my question goes back to championship weekend.
Yeah.
And what is the most underrated championship team that you can think of? And I'll go. I'll start it off. Because for me, it's that, I think it was 2004 Detroit Pistons team, that Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace winning that NBA title. Answer. Because when you think about it,
really,
and if you hear anybody talk about the Pistons, anytime they talk about Pistons, great. You don't hear Ben Wallace's name come up. You don't hear Chauncey Billups' name come up. Nobody from that team gets mentioned. It's all you got to think. They always jump back to that Dumars, Lambeer team. So I'm like, okay, did they forget that they got another championship team out there that is more recent, or what's going on with that? Just for me, that's the one that just jump out at me every time I think about championship teams. It's like that one gets lost in the weeds somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, it's funny. You said that was yours too, Kyle?
Yeah. As soon as he put that in the chat, that was the first team I thought of, kind of on a different wavelength, where I feel like when you hear a lot of people talking about basketball now, that Pistons team didn't play the sexiest type of basketball. A lot of the younger fans, they like the up and down pace, space, high scoring. That Pistons team was the complete opposite of that. So I don't think they necessarily go back and look at those Pistons teams. But if you look at them, they were just as dominant as any team today. They just did it a different way, where it was defense first. It was 5 guys on the court working as one. They didn't have superstars, but they were just really good together. And that's why I thought they were the underrated, champion for me.
See, another thing that got me for it was you had a bunch of teams that tried to copycat that same philosophy, where you had that 3 to 5, switch them out, interchangeable. You had the same size guy. It was like copy paste and just plug them in there. and nobody could get it to work the way the Pistons did. But a bunch of teams tried. 'Cause I know my Atlanta Hawks, they tried it for 10 straight years, rolling out Josh Smith and the rest of them guys, and it was just like nothing ever came out of it.
It's funny because I looked up a couple lists earlier and I seen that team on the list, and my reaction is the same as it is when you guys said it. I think they're one of the most overrated teams in NBA history as far as to win a championship. I don't mean that to be smart. I just mean like Detroit basketball. We talk about how they knocked off the evil empire, how they knocked off the Lakers. They won 3 straight and then ended up losing that year. To me, it was, I don't know how to explain it. To me, it was very. I just thought that it was anticlimactic. I thought that they got a little overpraised for that. I thought that Kobe and Shaq team was on their way out the door. The fights had already started, and that was the last. I felt like you could see that turmoil coming a mile away, and I don't know. I felt like it was just a little overhyped as a whole. Jordan, what you got?
So I went a different route. I went to 2011 Dallas Maverick team. They went through. I mean, let me just tell you the roster, man. It was Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler, Sean Marion, Jason Terry, JJ Barea, and Deshaun Stevenson. I mean, think about it. I mean, that was the year that kind of like when LeBron went to Miami, that choke year for LeBron, and kind of like Dirk Nowitzki's legacy in that playoff was like there wasn't really looked at because it was LeBron and Kobe in the playoffs. So not to mention the Mavs went through Kobe, went through the young core of Russell Westbrook, KD, and Harden. And then I think this Dirk's greatness was just not as noticeable in that playoff because all those superstars in that playoff. So, and the fact that through that same season, I mean, Scary Terry would have gave you a couple baskets, clutch baskets. Sean Marion did a couple of things, that hybrid kind of played everything. But Dirk Nowitzki was the staple of that team, and that team was kind of underrated in that factor. So, and that was a year that LeBron kind of made him choke, made LeBron take shots, made LeBron hesitant at points. And that was the year that Miami should have won that series, but the Mavs had something coming from them. So that's the team that I kind of went for.
I like that. I like that answer a lot. I think that's a very underrated championship team. So I think that the thought process with me and underrated is different than a lot of other people in underrated. I don't think underrated is lucky, right? And I think that underrated means they were a lot better than we gave them credit for.
Okay.
That Dallas Mavericks team was a lot better than we gave them credit for.
Yeah.
When you hear about that team, what do you hear about? You hear about LeBron choked, right? You don't hear about how they rolled defense and how they played him and how the game plan was incredible. Like, why does it always have to be someone choked? So mine is a really good team, but they often get overlooked. And I'll go take a little old school. I could have went the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles route. I didn't do it. I could have did it because they're very underrated in a sense. Nick Foles, all the backups, the 41-33 was a hell of a game. One of the best Super Bowl games you're ever watching in your life, if not the best Super Bowl. But I won't go homerish. When you think of 90s football, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
90s football.
Niners,
Cowboys.
You said Niners. That's the first name that came to your mind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I remember that for the 90s and Cowboys, whether it was championship, like NFC championship, I just remember those two teams. I know most people will go Cowboys first, yeah.
Most people would say the Cowboys, and in the late 90s, they'd say the Packers and the Broncos.
Yeah, I think the Packers, yeah.
But the team that gets lost in the sauce, in my opinion, was that Steve Young NFL Super Bowl 49ers team, because you had the Cowboys dynasty. And on the other side of it, you had the 2 Super Bowls for, well, John Elway's 2 Super Bowls, and then you had the Packers there back-to-back years. But that blowout over San Diego
yeah,
was fun to watch. Remember that San Diego team, Natron, Means, but that
Stan
49ers
Humphries.
team,
You say yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize how good they were. The 1994 San Francisco 49ers, they were 13-3 and rolled through the playoffs. They remind me a lot. And once again, I'm getting homerish. I'm not trying to get this way, but they remind me a lot of this year's Eagles. They didn't get tested that entire playoffs. There was no anxiety. There was no close games. It was just blowout. We're better. They're better. They're better, and they're better. And I look at a team like that where they never get talked about. You talk about the 80s 49ers, but they very rarely get talked about that Steve Young championship. It almost gets lost in the sauce. No, I think the 94 49ers would be one of the most underrated teams in history because I feel like pound for pound, they could have been a top 4 or 5 team of all time, but no one puts them there.
Yeah, that's before my time, but yeah, I can definitely see that.
So if we were going with an NBA route, because I had a few, and I'll give an honorable mention because I looked at a lot of teams, and this kind of plays into what I was saying earlier is I don't look at underrated as bad. I look at underrated as a team that was just they were way better than we gave them credit for. And we talk about the Spurs dynasty and the Lakers dynasty that happened between each other, and then you run right into LeBron James and but that 2008-2009 Boston Celtics team, and I hate saying this as a 76ers fan, the 2008 Celtics were dominant, just dominant. And the 2009 Celtics were probably more dominant. And if you want to lie to yourself and tell yourself that team didn't get cheated in the NBA Finals, I've never in my entire life seen a more rigged game than I watched when the Lakers played the Celtics in Game 7. It was terrible.
Well,
like foul calls after foul calls after foul calls. Like, bro, I'd be embarrassed to be a Laker fan and win that championship.
Man, Lakers Kings, same thing. The Lakers Kings series, exact same thing. Yeah.
It felt real weird. It felt like the NBA was trying to get Kobe one without Shaq, and it felt weird. It did. And he was 6 for 23 that game. You know, he shot 18 free throws. Does anybody realize how many times he got sent to the line? And it was embarrassing. Like all I want you to do is go back and watch the 2009 NBA Finals and watch Game 7. I get it, Jonathan Mathis. I get it. But like, if you watch and listen, I'm gonna be real with you. The 2010 team that won the next year was a lot better as a Lakers fan. And then the dynasty teams that happened in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2019 Lakers championship. But that one in particular, it felt different. It felt different to me.
Yeah, I like your outtake on like the whole underrated, because I didn't think about that. Like, it's not like not like a team's a bad team. It's a team that's like could have been good or is good, but like there's a team that was better that was overlooked by that team. So yeah, I was gonna underrate it as like, a team that the underdog, like a Cinderella team.
See, but that's why I get caught on Gene when he talked about the Pistons, about them. We think that we overrate them, and I'm like, I didn't see that.
That's fair. So my thought process with that would be, I watch them, and in my eyes, when people ask who's the most complete NBA championship team in history, they're one of the first teams I bring up, because they have 5 starters that were all legit starters. Like, you had Chauncey at the 1, Rip at the 2, Tayshaun at the 3, Rasheed at the 4, and Ben Wallace at the 5. And I look at them, and they, to me, reminded me of the most complete team I've ever watched. So it wasn't superstars. It was just 5 really good basketball players. And like, when I think Detroit basketball, I don't think of the 80s. I think when you say the Pistons, I think of the 80s and Dumars and Pistons. But when I think of Detroit, like that phrase, I think of that basketball team. So, which is why I said I don't think they were underrated. I think they were complete, and I think that people don't give them. I think people give them almost too much roses. Like, I feel like if that team was around today, I feel like they get ran off the court. So underrated wouldn't be the word I'd use.
I think
I don't-
in their
I don't know if
prime,
they get run off the court though, because you had when only person that really didn't that played some suspect kind of defense was Rip Hamilton.
They had no shooting, bro. Rip was a mid-range guy. Tayshaun Prince couldn't really shoot. Chauncey Billups could shoot, but Chauncey Billups was your point guard. And if you think Chauncey Billups was anything more than a B-plus shooter, you ain't watched Chauncey Billups' career.
No, yeah, I don't think he's a shooter, but you still got see, because you're talking about today and everybody shooting 3-pointers. I guess that's the problem that I have when we start trying to match teams like that.
Yeah,
is
they beat
because
teams by locking teams up, though, bro. The Kobe Shaq Lakers that were in 2000 or 2001 would have beat them in 4.5. But the problem was that whole season, if you remember that season, and I could be wrong, and y'all can correct me if I'm not, but if that was the season where Kobe was dealing with his jail stuff and like court stuff going on in court, I don't want to get into that. I'm not here to disparage it, but the arguments between Kobe and Shaq were through the media were insanity.
Yeah.
And like everybody said this is the last year, and one of them won out, and Kobe was asking for a trade, and then Shaq ended up asking for a trade and got out of there, and the Lakers eventually chose keep Kobe, which was a good decision.
Well, I also looked at that team as I thought they were underrated because I feel like that finals is more about the Lakers' issues than necessarily Detroit winning.
Valid point.
Because we also looked at that was the year that Karl Malone and Gary Payton were supposed to get their ring, but they got hurt. And then, like you said, Shaq and Kobe and all their turmoil. So it almost seems like, people were ready for the Lakers to win it, and then we got Detroit, and they were like, "Oh, well, okay." And then you can even look at the 08 Celtics team that you brought up, and I feel like they get remembered for kind of being that way. It's just that they had better names on the Celtics with Garnett, Allen, and Pierce, but they were another team that played that together basketball, relied on defense and all the chemistry. And I feel like they get remembered better than the Pistons do.
I'm dead serious, Kyle. When I tell you this, and I want to ask you this question, and I want you to be real. Take the NBA Finals out of it. What team was better to you, the 08 team or the 09 team? And I'd be remiss if I watched both of them. Like I hate Boston, right? But like I watched both of them, and 09 team was the better team.
Because I'm trying to remember, the 09 team was the one where Perkins got hurt, right? Yeah. I mean, that probably was better than the 08 team.
And Rajon Rondo had another year under his belt. You can see the cockiness in him. He almost turned into being a little too cocky, which he did later in his career. But that 09 team just seemed way better.
Eddie House, I forgot about him too.
Yeah, the 09 loss definitely hurt way more than the 08 win. It was, because I loved the 08 team. Absolutely loved that team. But 09, I really did think back to back and all that. And then once Perkins went down, I was like, it's not happening. Because
Stephon Marbury. Holy crap.
Yeah, that wasn't real Stephon Marbury though.
Yeah.
I was looking at the roster up and down.
Yeah. I feel you, but that wasn't real Stephon Marbury. That was like Starberry days.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Great first question, though. I love that question. And if you're thinking of underrated as underdogs, there's never a team that is more underdogs than the 2017-2018 Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't mean to get all homer on you, but they were underdogs in all three of their playoff games. The Atlanta Falcons were favored over them in Philadelphia. It was the only one seed that opened up as an underdog ever in the history of NFL. It's never happened before, where the number one seed opened up as an underdog in their first game. That was the only time ever. They were underdogs to the Minneapolis Miracle. Minnesota came in there, and they were riding their high horse, and Minnesota was 3-point favorites. And they were 6-point underdogs to the Evil Empire, to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Seriously. And,
that year, speaking of football too, that year that the Ravens won, who was the favorite in the Super Bowl? Ravens.
I knew the Ravens would get blown off.
But listen, because Joe Flacco had to go through Peyton Manning in Denver.
Facts. That's a very good point.
I'm trying to figure who.
I'll tell you right now, that was the luckiest Super Bowl run I've ever seen in my life.
So do you think? I'm trying to see if they were the underdogs. I mean, they had Ray Lewis on the defense.
They were 100% underdog at Denver.
Well, I'm saying it's like to the playoffs. I'm not sure who
Jones that caught it down the sideline. The throw where Pate
was a Maha run.
Yep. And Flacco just threw it over the guy's head. And nobody knows how.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember who was the underdog in that match against in the Super Bowl. Was it the Niners? Because they had Kaepernick still. So
I don't remember who the underdog in that Super Bowl was.
I mean, that's a team
that Broncos game you should have never won. And then you beat the Patriots, right? Patriots were next one.
Sorry, Kyle.
They beat the Broncos, the Patriots, and then the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That was a hell of a run. That's another good one.
That's another good. I didn't think about that.
You should have been more prepared, Jordan. You could have gave me all the stats.
Right. I mean, that Mavericks one, that was pretty good.
It was a perfect time to, pump up your team, man.
That's all good, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Next question on the docket. We're 20 minutes in. We got to move. Kyle. Know what? Jordan. I want Kyle's next. Jordan, give me your question because
mine wasn't even that hard. I mean, I guess if you didn't have a moment, but so my question was, I mean, being a sports fan, any sport, what was probably the greatest moment you've seen live, actually at the game? I'll go first. I was kind of like torn between two actually. Last year, I'm not a Rutgers basketball fan. My friends are, but we went to the Purdue Rutgers game. Probably the best college basketball game I've ever seen. If y'all don't know, Purdue, I think they're still number one, but last year they're number one. Rutgers was, I don't know what rank they were, but, we were up in the cheap seats, no pun intended, 300 level. Then we moved down to the half, it's like the behind the bench, and Ron Harper hit the game-winning shot to upset Purdue. So that was the one. And then the other one, which was kind of like the one I should have picked for my first one, was the Yankee game where I went to. Aaron Judge had like a walk-off home run that was part of his 62 season home run. So they were down by
last year.
It was last year when Aaron Judge
hit a walk-off Grand Slam game.
I think we played the Rays. I think, or no. I remember we played the Blue Jays that game. That was early in the season.
Walk-off Grand Slam game.
Walk-up Grand Slam game. Yeah, but Giancarlo hit one, and then
yep,
Giancarlo hit that one. And Severino had like 40 pitches in the second inning. He got shipped out, but not shipped out, but he got
I think y'all went out 7-1 and ended up winning that game.
Yeah, but it was funny because I was looking for a snack, right? So I was gone for like 45 minutes. I came back to my seat when Giancarlo hit the 3-1 home run. But then I made it back for the Aaron Judge, and my friend was like, "Yo, this is a homer, crack, grand slam." Not grand slam, but walk off.
I don't mean to do this to you, Jordan, but I'm gonna really throw you up here. I don't want to do this to you, but 2004, I got to paint the picture for you. The Philadelphia Eagles had lost 3 straight NFC Championship games, right?
Mm-hmm.
We lost in 2000 to the Rams. We lost in 2001 to the Rams. 2002 to the Bucks and Joe Jurevicius. Oh my God, it was heartbreaking. It's the only time they ever beat us in the Link. It's the last. In the Vet. It was the last game at the Vet. In 2003, we lost to the Carolina Panthers and Ricky Manning Jr. and Jake Delhomme. It was terrible. So 2004, the Philadelphia Eagles take Terrell Owens off the Ravens roster because the Ravens didn't deserve him. We take Terrell Owens, and they're unbelievable. They're unbeatable. They're 13-1. They're just dominating through the league. And then in which I was at week 15, Roy Williams breaks Terrell Owens' ankle in the game. Breaks his tibia or his fibula in his ankle. So I'm at that game. The Eagles end up winning that game, but that's not the game I'm talking about. So the divisional round, we played the Minnesota Vikings, and that was the FredEx game. Freddie Mitchell. I'd like to thank my hands. Only game he ever had that was great as a Philadelphia Eagles. We get to the end, and I went to that game. You're talking about a kid that's 19 years old. I was going to Eagles games every week. I was making great money, and I could afford it.
Probably tickets were probably cheap then, right?
No, bro. I was in luxury box, 50-yard line, $400 a pop. So, NFC Championship game, I'm not going to go, right? The tickets are $485 to get in the building. A piece, not even a pair.
That's crazy.
So, my buddy Zach goes, let's go to the NFC Championship game. I'm like, all right. I said, T.O.'s not there. I can't take a heartbreak like this. We're playing Mike Vick and the Atlanta Falcons. I can't take it, bro. This can't happen. I'm like, if I spend $500 on these seats, and sure enough, I spent $500 on the seats. I'm sitting in the end zone, the exact corner end zone that Chad Lewis catches, like basically the touchdown that seals the game in the back corner of the end zone, and the Eagles win the NFC Championship game. I was at that game, and that was incredible. That was the game where Brian Dawkins lit up Algie Crumpler, like absolutely just took his head off. So,
yeah,
that would be me.
That's pretty cool. Like the game that you don't want to go to, the game that
I wanted to go, but I was like so like nervous that like I was going to spend $500 on these seats. Now keep in mind, I'm 19, bro. I'm spending half a rack on tickets to go watch and they've just lost 3 straight NFC Championship games. I was nervous, but it was incredible. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a championship game, but if you go to a football game, an NFL game now, you sit down for the most part of the game, you stand up with a big play. That NFC Championship game, when people say the link is nuts, I'm telling you, bro, we did not. Those seats could have just. They never went down. Not one person sat down one time in that game. You stood the entire game. Dude, I had no voice for a week. It was incredible.
Yeah. I can't speak for that playoff Flatbed Spirit, but
damn, y'all are better than anything I got.
Yeah,
I mean,
same
mine's are mainly like when I was back in Boston or whatever. I went to I think a Revolution game. It was kind of early in the MLS experience. So
I mean, it was any sport, so it doesn't matter to me. Yeah,
I'm just like, that's kind of my experiences. It's just like being there. MLS is just kind of formed, so seeing the excitement that a lot of people had for finally a soccer league being established in the U.S. and all the excitement back then, it kind of being there for, because I mean I played soccer as my first sport as a kid, so I always loved soccer, and like for me, like that was just really cool just to see that and kind of see where it's kind of grown slowly, but it's still growing kind of to where it is today. I mean, it was just cool being there early on in the experience.
Yeah. Brian, no Michael Jordan games, man?
No, man, I wish. I was coming up in Atlanta, so it was just only damn Hawks and Falcons games, and it was by the time I really started going to them, Dion had already jumped ship from the Falcons, and I was like, yeah, I'll still go. I got to a couple of those Mike Vick games, but nothing really, no playoff games, nothing like that, because I ain't had bread for that, bro. So, Gene, you're a lucky one, man, hitting these playoff games.
I'll tell you right now, and this is my dead serious opinion, and y'all think I'm wild. I get called violation for this shit all the time. If you gave me free tickets in the NFC Championship game this past week, I wouldn't have went. I don't like going to live NFL football anymore. I actually I hate it, if I'm being real with you. I want to be able to piss on my own bathroom, eat my own food, drink my own beer, and be able to watch a game on the comfortability of my couch with HD, not in the friggin' 30-degree weather. Like I think people that go to NFL games are absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand it.
I hear that.
The reason I was going because we was in the dome, man. We had the Georgia Dome.
I forgot I didn't even mean to take a shot at you when I brought up that Eagles Falcons game. That must have hurt. I know how much. If you brought up the Ricky Manning Jr. game to me, bro, I might have cried.
Nah, man. Like I said, I'm a realistic fan. I got over that long time ago. I don't get invested like that anymore. I just watch it.
Oh, I'll tell you. Do you know you guys remember that Eagles run where we lost in 3 straight NFC Championship games?
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a guess, and to me, it's a no doubt about it, right? What do you think the most painful loss was during that run? And I'll give you 4 of them, right? I'll give you a multiple choice. The Rams, where we basically got screwed on the last play of the game, non-existent call. Aeneas Williams pulled our receiver, Kevin Curtis. It drove me nuts. We lost 29-24. We're driving down to win that game. 2002 was the Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe Jurevicius, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks. Eagles took the opening kickoff. Brian Mitchell took it 75 yards to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Deuce Staley runs it in 25 yards, 7-up before you can blink. And the Eagles lost that game. And then the Ricky Manning Jr. one, we lost 13-3. McNabb threw 3 picks to Ricky Manning Jr. The Carolina Panthers had that. And then the Super Bowl in 2004 when the Eagles lost to the Patriots. Which one do you think hurt me the most?
That Bucs game.
What you think, Kyle?
I mean, I was going to say Super Bowl because of the Super Bowl. And, T.O. had made it back, had a really good game. And was it a late interception that Rodney Harrison kind of sealed it? So I'd go the Super Bowl game.
I think that Ricky Manning game.
It was the Bucs. I'll tell you right now. I walked into that Super Bowl. I walked into that Super Bowl thinking versus the Patriots, thinking we weren't the better team. So it didn't disappoint me as much. The Ricky Manning Jr. game was terrible, and it was so ugly to watch. And we thought we were going to walk through them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing that hurt more than the last game at the Vet. It was the last game in the Vet, and we loved that stadium forever. It has so many memories in it. We're playing the Buccaneers, who never won below 40-degree weather. Yep. Remember the stat?
Yep.
And we're like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Last game of the Vet was closing out with an NFC Championship game with a bang. We're going to go play the sorry-ass Oakland Raiders. No, we're not losing them.
Yep.
Rich Gannon and them. We knew we were going to win that Super Bowl. And we lost that game. And Rondé Barber, I'll never forget it. We're down 10. And there's 4 minutes left. And it's 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. And McNabb drops back, and Rondé Barber jumps the route and takes it 100 yards.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was just like, this, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah. I should have guessed that anyway. Any game where you throwing out Joe Jurevicius, that had to be the one that hurt.
Oh, do you know the play that Joe Jurevicius had in that game? We were on our own. They were on their own 15-yard line. It was 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And he run a little drag route about 6 yards across the middle of the field and took it 90 yards to the house.
Mm-hmm.
It was insanity. I'm like, we really let that happen? It was just.
Yeah. We all have those moments as sports fans.
Killed me.
I still refuse to remember the 2 Giants Super Bowl wins, so it's all good.
Hey man, I'm like that with that last Falcon Super Bowl, up 20 points, and you just can't get a first down. That's why I was like, yeah.
That's the worst loss in NFL history.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Brian, you were. I'll tell you right now, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. When Julio Jones caught that ball, that ridiculous catch on the sideline, if the Falcons would have kneeled the ball 3 times and then kicked the field goal to go up 10, the Patriots had no chance of winning that football game.
Yep. But it's the Falcons, man. You know something's going to go wrong. Getting in shotgun.
But I was so floored. I'm like, just kneel the ball 3 times. I don't understand. There's nothing you have to do. The game is over.
On the Falcons, man. Shotgun. Yeah. All right, bro.
Wait, was
I thought it was over
Quinn?
after the Julio catch.
I said, was Dan Quinn still the coach or head coach then? Dan Quinn? Oh, okay.
And
was the
offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That was the first of Kyle Shanahan's 2 biggest doofus moments I've ever seen in my life. He had another one in the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs. It's 10-10, right? And there's 1:48 left in the first half, in a tie ball game. And he's running the clock out to go to halftime. Then on 3rd and 7, it's George Kittle for 60 yards, and they ran out of time because he was running the clock out. Doofus. I couldn't believe that. It was so dumb. But
yeah, that catch by was it Edelman? Oh man, that was a crazy catch.
Bro, that catch was absurd. One of the greatest catches you'll ever see in Super Bowl history. I don't know how he caught that ball. It was he was underneath everybody. It's funny because me and my boss, we talked about this recently. We went through that game and watched it. There was 14 plays in that game where the Patriots had to have it. Like essentially, if they didn't get that one play, they would have lost the Super Bowl 14 times, and they were 14 for 14 on those.
Yep,
never seen anything like it in my life. But I had the Falcons in that game. I had the Falcons +3. They were 3-point dogs. I had them +3. I had them to win by 7 to 10. I put $50 on it, and I got 18-1 odds, plus 1,800. And if they would have kicked the field goal, they would have been up 10. And they would have got 7 to 10. So the Patriots went down, kicked the field goal, tried to get the onside kick or whatever. If they would have just did what they should have did, I would have won like $2,000 that night. I lost $500 because remember the touchdown in the end zone?
Yep.
Because it was a touchdown, I didn't cover the 3. I had the Falcons +3, bro.
Yeah.
They had cash out options, bro. The cash out would have been almost the whole damn thing.
Wow. Cash in hand and the shotgun.
All right, well, we got 2 more questions on the docket tonight for cheap seats. I figure I'll go and then we'll end on Kyle's because Kyle's got a really fun one. I kind of want to end on with a bang. So I'm an NFL guy, and I'm always comping players, and we're talking about the young quarterbacks in the league. And I wanted to give our NFL comparison, and my goal is to you guys to not name a quarterback. Now, like I get it. Like if you want to say Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, comparable, that's fine. Tom Brady still plays, okay. But I want a player that played in the 90s or the early 2000s or even late 2000s that you would be a comp of for these NFL quarterbacks. Now, because I don't think we've ever been in a place where we have this much quarterback talent ever. I've never seen it. You guys could go back and tell me a place where we had this much quarterback talent in the league at one time. I don't ever remember it.
As far as like the mobile quarterback and that dual threat, yeah.
No, I mean top tier quarterback. See,
yeah,
I think that's the part that what we have now is a little unfamiliar territory because you have to go back to that Elway, Marino, Montana where you had
Kelly.
3 to 4. Yeah, Jim Kelly. I almost forgot about him. Where you had 3 to 4 really top tier quarterbacks at the same time playing very high level football.
You had Favre.
Yeah, and see, even because that was a young Favre.
Shit,
that was a young one at that time.
I hate Favre. I've always hated Favre, and then after everything he did in Mississippi,
oh yeah.
I hate him even more. All right. My man, Danny Dempsey checking in. Dan Marino. You'll never find a bigger Dan Marino fan than my man Danny. He's a Dolphins fan, true blue, his entire life. And I remember being kids and just like, man, I'll root for the Dolphins. You root for the Eagles. And like we used to watch football at my dad's house. Him, his dad, me, and my dad used to watch football every Sunday.
Man, Chris Chandler was 5 times better than Dan Marino.
What? I'll get off this damn. Don't Marcus me, bro.
Man, you know you got to throw in Chris Chandler. Come on now.
So I'm going to give you a quarterback that plays now, and I want you to give me who you think their NFL comparison is. And it's okay to give a ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. Like a ceiling of what they could be. I'll start with Justin Herbert.
Okay. He was an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I this is the name I locked onto, and I'm not even sure about it, so I'm gonna throw it out there and see what you guys think. Thinking Phillip Rivers. Herbert.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they kind of play. I mean, yes, they both play for the Chargers. They both have had really talented teams, but both of the teams you could kind of say didn't necessarily live up to the talent. Because Rivers had some great teams with Sean Merriman, LT, Antonio Gates, never could get past whether it was Brady or whoever. Herbert, yeah, he's still early in his career, but I feel like for Herbert, this year shouldn't have been his first year in the playoffs. And then the way that game went, you could put all that on Staley or whatever. Even with Rivers, he had Schottenheimer, where they talk about Marty Ball, where it's kind of conservative when it came to the playoffs. So I think Rivers and Herbert might be a good comparison.
So
See,
it's funny.
Kyle took mine. So
It's funny because
I was thinking Dan Marino.
And that's the reason I
Okay.
brought it up, because we were just talking about Dan Marino.
Yep.
And my man Danny said that in the chat. I think he's so familiar to Dan Marino. Like, the guy just slings the ball over the yard. He literally, I'll tell you right now, if they had skills competition and Justin Herbert's in it, take him to hit the targets better than anybody. He'll throw that ball, spin that ball, ridiculous, with a cannon, just a flick of the wrist. I think he's prettier than Philip Rivers. I think Philip Rivers had that ugly arm motion.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think that Justin Herbert's just prettier. So I'll go Dan Marino.
See, I had Marino for somebody else, so I'll save that one.
That's fair. Oh, you got Marino for Trevor Lawrence? That's wild. No, I'm just trying to guess. Okay. So you have Marino, I have Marino. Big J, you have Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers. Any other comments on this on Herbert?
No, that was my one. It was Marino. And it was Marino because of everything Kyle said. I was thinking about team aspect. I think he's going to have the stats. I just don't know if he's going to get that ring. Everything lined up exactly how Kyle said. That's the first thing I thought was Marino.
I have the perfect one, but I'll go last because I want to give you guys the opportunity to get it. Josh Allen. Big J, who you got?
That's damn. I was gonna say like a prime Peyton Manning.
That's terrible, bro. It's terrible.
For Josh Allen, I went Marino for Josh Allen.
Really?
Because
I get it for cannon arm. I get
but
they also they were both on teams where didn't necessarily have running game and all that. They were kind of the guy that
I don't agree with the comp, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean that's because Josh Allen was another interesting one for me, and I was kind of just thinking about it, and I thought Marino had to be comparable to somebody. And
Jordan, you're drunk. I cannot believe you just said that shit out loud.
No.
Peyton Manning was one of the smartest quarterbacks.
With the arm. I mean, I'm sorry, the arm talent.
Peyton Manning didn't have a great arm. Peyton Manning dissected the game and knew,
he said Cam Newton, but he said somebody in
Cam Newton is a very good. So I'll put it this way, right? Josh Allen's floor is Cam Newton, and I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian, give me yours.
John Elway.
That's it, bro. Why do you do this to me? That's the second one in a row. Great answer. John Elway is the answer. You're correct. Ding, ding, ding. I'm kidding. There's no correct answer. But like John Elway is the answer, bro. You want to talk about a guy that played with reckless abandon, that ran, that had a cannon for an arm.
Cannon on arm. Yep.
Wasn't great at dissecting the defense.
No.
But like just
gonna make a play.
Plays happen. Couldn't win the big game early in his career. Won a couple late when he got Terrell Davis and finally got a running game. Jesus, it's too comparable.
Mm-hmm.
See, I love Elway somewhere else. Okay. All right. I mean, that does make sense though when you explain it that way. I picked Elway for somebody else. Okay.
So his ceiling is John Elway.
Yeah.
His floor is Cameron Newton. And I mean that when I say that. Like, I think ceiling and floor for Josh Allen is exactly there. Ceiling and floor.
Yeah, because if you think about Elway evolved to where he became more of a thinking when he needed to run, and he became smarter with the football. Even though he had the arm, he didn't just rely on it just to throw it into triple coverage because I got a cannon, I can fit it in there. And I think Josh Allen got the key. He has to progress to that point because now he still is young and dumb. I can do it. And it's like, okay, you need to think about it before you try to do it. And Elway did that once he got older.
I think that you will find out that his torn UCL that he's going to have surgery on this offseason had way more of an effect on him. And I think next year he comes back. Now, the one thing I'll look at is coming back off that UCL injury that Brock Purdy just suffered yesterday, that Josh Allen suffered earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
You normally never get that zip back on your ball that you've ever had. If you remember, Chad Pennington had 2 of those.
Yeah.
And his arm completely just was terrible. He couldn't throw the ball 40 yards in the air.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is the strongest arm in the NFL. It's not close. It's Allen, then Herbert, Mahomes, second and third. But Josh Allen can throw a ball the whole football field. The guy's arm is just absurd. I'm really interested to see how he recovers from that torn UCL.
I think that's going to make him – he's going to have to play smarter now.
So, all right. Next one on the docket. I'm saving 2 for a reason. Trevor Lawrence, the young phenom.
All right. So, I feel like you're not going to like this one. That's why I ended up with Elway for some reason.
I don't mind that one. I think that's actually not terrible.
Okay. Because
once again,
I was thinking can't miss guy, big quarterback, impressive arm, can't miss prospect. They were both kind of labeled that way coming out of college. So
Danny, I hate when Danny does this to me. That's it. Like you steal it. Bro, Danny's football mind, bro, he needs to get on a sports podcast. I'm telling you right now. Danny's football mind is one of the best football minds I've ever. Like when I was a kid, I used to love just having conversation with him. He's probably the reason that I'm so passionate about football. Was talking football, playing Madden football with him when I was a kid. It was, man.
See, I want a different
your point. I apologize.
No, it's good because I did think about Jim Kelly as well, but I settled in on Elway for, like I said, both can't miss guys coming out, drafted really high. I mean, Lawrence is 6'6". I think Elway was like 6'2", 6'3", maybe.
I think he was 6'4".
I think about 6'4".
Okay. So yeah, they're both bigger guys. Both had mobility, so that's why I linked those 2
up. Big J.
I mean, actually, I was going to go Jim Kelly for the comparison, just because they both had that. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare Lawrence because he's still young in his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can say Jim Kelly because they both had that cannon. They both can get outside the pocket. So I went with Jim Kelly.
Bri?
All right, so I went a different route on this one.
Okay,
I got Troy Aikman.
Okay, I get that. It's a weird comparison, but like he went 1-15 his first.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
But he went 1-15 his first year as a starting quarterback. They were terrible.
Yep.
Had a terrible situation. They built the team up around him. They got better and better each year. I get it. I'll stop.
And that's how I'm looking at him because you see that from college, you saw what he could do. So getting in the pro, it's going to be a learning curve. And now you're seeing that he's taking on more. He's like, put it on my shoulders. I can handle a little bit more. And I think the way that Aikman had to do with handling Michael Irvin, handling Emmitt Smith, Dallas, you got to win. And I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence, and I'm looking at him like, okay, he's getting it together now where he's going to be able to lead the team. And you see that he can get the team to win. He don't necessarily have to try to do it all on his own because he couldn't do it all on his own. He still had to put people in place and put the ball in the right place. And I see Trevor Lawrence getting there.
Mine was Jim Kelly, and it was Jim Kelly for a lot of reasons. You guys remember where Jim Kelly went to college?
No.
He went to the U.
That's right.
Miami.
He did go to Miami, yeah.
Do you know he didn't want to get drafted by Buffalo? He tried everything in the world not to get drafted by Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jim Kelly was just, once he got engulfed in that organization, was one of the greatest people that ever happened to the city of Buffalo. Like, he's still part of the team. He's had multiple cancer treatments.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest. Yeah, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks you'll ever watch play football that never won one. He was the creator of the K-Gun at Buffalo, the Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly offense. I think Trevor Lawrence is headed in that direction. He made a lot of mistakes early in his career. He slung the ball everywhere. But he progressed every year, and his jumps just kept getting bigger and bigger. And the 4 falls of Buffalo, everybody remembers him, right?
Yeah.
You lost to the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys twice. But Jim Kelly, if you play Jim Kelly in the AFC Championship game, you were going home that week. So Jim Kelly was something special. So I think that Trevor Lawrence will field those shoes. Hopefully he gets a championship or two.
Yeah.
I'm starting the next one because y'all keep stealing my thunder.
All right.
It's one of my favorite players in football. I think he's the second best quarterback in football. It's Joe Burrow. And for Joe Burrow, I think it's very easy. The comparison I see is Tom Brady, and I see it huge. I think that now listen, I'm not gonna say he's gonna win 7 championships. That's absurd. But between the winning aspect, the humility, the fact that he can dissect the defense, the fact that he's always cool. They said something about Joe Burrow. He took a test when he was in like 6th grade, and he said the only 3 people that score the way he scored in this test are police officers, firemen, and sociopaths. Because his temperature and his body never changed, no matter how deep waters, how many how tough things got, how ridiculous things got around him. He always was cool. Joe Cool. I remember when he was at Ohio State and this God rest his soul, Haskins beat him out for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Haskins beat him out for the job. And Alabama offered him to come in and be their 3rd string quarterback. And Joe Burrow said, "Who, me? You must not know who I am. No." And then he went to LSU and had one of the greatest seasons you'll ever see from a quarterback.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow gets his knee injured. His first year, comes back, takes the Bengals to the Super Bowl with no offensive line. 4/5 of his offensive line get hurt this year, and he's a couple plays away from beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead. Joe Burrow is a winner, and I think Joe Burrow is the closest comparison to Tom Brady that you'll watch.
Okay,
George, you shook your head like 4 times. Can I hear yours?
So I'm gonna say Steve Young. As far as that quarterback back, he's kind of like that old-fashioned mobile quarterback, where not as fast, but he can make a play. I say Steve Young.
Okay.
So Burrow, I thought Brady as well, because I think that it's similar. You can see it, the mentality and all that. But I actually went Manning for Burrow, and I did that because if you look at it, he's been
great one. Sorry,
no,
you just took my. Come on, now that was mine.
But because Burrow, I went through Brady, I went through Montana, and I settled on Manning because I looked at it as I feel like if you look at Manning's early years, well, actually, Burrow's kind of been better early on than Manning, but Manning, it took him a while before he got past the Brady, and then he won his title and all that. And I think that's what's going to happen with Burrow, where I'm not going to give away who I have for Brady, but there's a certain guy out there who might get in Burrow's way for a few years here, but he'll get close. So that's kind of why I went with Manning on that one. But the Brady one, I definitely see what you're saying, Gene, because I see a lot of Brady in him as well.
It's obvious. Mahomes is next. That's
but
we all know this.
No, Brady's Lamar Jackson.
Joe
Clearly.
Montana, because you said cool Joe Burrow and cool Joe Montana, man.
I was gonna say that
because now Jordan he had something when he said being able to move.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Montana he wasn't a mobile quarterback. He wasn't Steve Young. Steve Young could run.
Right.
Steve Young was closer to Lamar Jackson than the Joe Burrow when it came down to moving.
Right.
So Joe Burrow was more of that Joe Montana where he can move in the pocket a little bit better than Brady. He can get outside the pocket, and if he had to just run for a first down, you still got to watch him to do that. And that was Joe Montana. But he was also going to be cool, dissect the play, get the ball out there to the right one, and smart and calm, and he's going to make a play. So that's why I was like, Joe Burrow, Joe Montana.
I like it. It's very good. Very good.
Gene, when you made this, I was surprised you put Hurts on the list.
No. Hurts, first of all, We'll get a couple other afterwards. I'll ask Lamar Jackson hurts if you guys want to talk about it for a second. But let's go through the last one. Patrick Mahomes. Big J, go first for me.
I mean, the only comparison right now is just, I mean, I think Tom Brady, man. That was mine.
Okay.
As far as, you know, the Chiefs are nothing without Mahomes. That's just, you know, and he has that floor of. I'm not thinking that he might get those rings. As far as Tom Brady, but as far as talent and longevity, obviously he has an ankle injury right now, so we'll see how that, you know, if he gets surgery on that ankle or, you know, if he just sucks it up and, you know, doesn't get surgery. But as far as floor, it's Tom Brady. He's the greatest quarterback right now in the league. I got to give it to him.
Kyle?
I went Brady because you look at Mahomes, he's with a great organization, just like Brady. Well, it developed into a great organization. He had a great coach, Belichick, Andy Reid, and they're just both winners. For Mahomes' time, he's probably the best winner that we have right now. And well, of course, Brady's still around, but you know, he's on his way out. But Brady, when he went through his dominant run, he was the best winner in football. So I just put those two together. That was the easiest one for me.
I disagree with both of y'all.
Yeah. Same here.
Who's yours, bro?
Warren Moon. If Warren Moon would have gotten to a team that did have an Andy Reid and some more talent around him, Warren Moon was awesome. He was one of the most talented quarterbacks that you would ever see, where it came from arm talent, mobility, mind. He had it all. So if Warren Moon if you look at it, he had to go to the USFL before he could even get to the NFL. Oh, no, not USFL, Canadian Football League, whatever it was. And went out there and won a couple of them Grey Cups. And then they finally was like, oh, yeah, we see now that you can play. Come on back to the NFL. And he still came in and damn near broke a couple of records. Just playing for the Houston Oilers. I mean, that's a trash organization that if he would have been on an actual team, he would have had a couple of rings. But yeah, Warren Moon, man, that's my guy.
So I have a backup plan if y'all don't allow me to do what I'm about to do. My comparison is Michael Jordan. Because you ain't never seen anybody like him before in your life. And comparing him to an NFL quarterback is just not – it's not right. I'm not saying he's going to go down as the greatest quarterback ever to play the game. 7 championships is ridiculous. What Tom Brady has done throughout this league is ridiculous. But my point being is Bill Russell won 11 championships, right? Championships aren't the only thing. It's what I see on the football field. And I've never seen anything like what I've seen in Patrick Mahomes. He is the most talented player to ever step on a football field. I've never seen anything like. He lost his number 1 wide receiver. He went out and won MVP. He's just that good. We talk about what quarterbacks are worth and what they're paid. He's worth every penny because you don't have to pay a number 1 wide receiver. You keep bringing these fringe guys in on 1 or 2 year deals. He did it yesterday with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I was going to remind you that.
Travis Kelce and some truck drivers.
I was going to remind you that Valdez-Scantling.
That's also why I kind of went with Brady. Brady
I get it.
A lot with
Brady. I can't go with Brady because Brady and him play 2 totally different games.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Brady wasn't that mobile of a quarterback as far as, you know, flicking.
Not even mobile. The arm.
You want to hear my backup
talent,
plan in case you didn't let me go with Michael Jordan?
What you got?
You know how you say like someone's a poor man, somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brett Favre is a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. And like the way Brett Favre played the game of football, it was like he played it like he was in the backyard. He flipped the ball. He would go nuts. Like Patrick Mahomes does that now. But Brett Favre was a poor man's version of what Patrick Mahomes is. So like a way more talented Brett Favre, like I would go in that direction. But I almost said Patrick Mahomes. and then y'all been like, "What?" Patrick Mahomes. There's never
I
been.
mean, I was gonna say that because Mahomes is in his own
I'm
tier.
telling you,
So it's like,
if you would have saw Warren Moon play,
I watched Warren Moon play, bro. Warren Moon was
I
great.
remember Warren Moon.
Warren Moon was before my time, so that's not fair
Not
for me.
before mine.
Yeah,
Warren Moon was slaying the ball, man. That's one person that don't get the credit that he deserves. Warren Moon.
We'll be quick on these next few. And if you don't have one, I don't have one. Yeah. But I'm going to give you guys some quick quarterbacks, and you guys give me the first name that comes to mind. Does that work?
All right, let's go.
Yep.
All right, Big J starts off. Lamar Jackson.
Mike Vick.
I mean, that's
or Steve Young.
Bro, stop.
As far as
stop.
The only other person outside of Vic I thought of was like college Vince Young.
Randall.
But yeah, Randall Cunningham as well. But I thought college Vince Young. But yeah, it's
mine's Vic or Randall. My man says Steve Young.
As far as
Steve Young could throw a ball through a tire 35 yards away.
I'm saying as far as athleticism.
Jordan, I love you, bro. We gotta move on to a different topic. You know, some shit like that. You can't do that.
Oh.
All right. Brian, who you going with for Lamar?
Mike Vick.
Yeah,
Mike Vick was my first one.
All right. Jalen Hurts.
Ooh. I'm actually thinking McNabb for Hurts.
Yeah, I like that one.
Nope.
I'm thinking Steve McNair.
Nope. That's a great one. Did you just drop a great one, Jordan? This whole damn thing.
I'm the great
and a bunch of bullshit. And then you just dropped Steve McNair. Yeah. That was. I almost had the nope ready. I bet you rewind it.
Rest in peace to the.
I probably said nope, and then was like, "No, that shit's great."
Yeah.
Even Daniel agrees with me. I'm out. Mic drop.
I like it.
Mic drop. I'm out.
See, I was thinking a better version of Cam Newton, power runner, throw the football well. But I think he's better than Cam is. I really do. I believe his career is better than Cam, and I think McNair is just perfect. McAir, I like it.
McAir, man.
Yeah. Any other quarterbacks you want to throw in this ring of fire?
What quarterbacks?
I got one. Daniel Jones. The dumpster outside. Trash.
I don't know.
Daniel Jones. If I have somebody for Daniel Jones.
No, I was kidding. I just meant he's a dumpster.
Oh, okay. Because that
you ain't got me one for that bottom 15 quarterback. Boomer for who?
Daniel Jones. That's what you said. Boomer assassin.
You don't mean Boomer for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones stinks. You guys want to throw any more quarterbacks in there before we get to Kyle Thomas?
I think we touched them all.
Nah, we good.
We didn't touch them all. We touched.
We touched the ones that were most important.
Daniel Jones stinks.
Kirk Cousins. I don't know. Kirk Cousins.
That's the only guys who really think about like Dak Prescott, guys like that. I mean, yeah.
All right, Kyle, your question.
All right. So coming off of Celtics Lakers, yes, Jordan, I brought it up again. Deal with it. NBA rivalries. We know it's not the same as it was back in the 80s and the 90s or whatever, but is Celtics Lakers still the best rivalry in the NBA?
Nope.
Okay.
Starts off, Jordan.
So are you meaning this is the current rivalry is today?
Yep.
This is the best rivalry in the NBA. What's the best rivalry in the NBA?
Right now, I'll have to say.
No. What, like, if someone's asking you, what's the greatest rivalry in the NBA? What's the best rivalry in the NBA?
Just NBA today, just as a whole, NBA.
Sure, today.
Man, I would have to say.
Is the answer on y'all ceiling? You and Brian both be looking at the damn ceiling.
You might have to go back to me on this one, man. I have to think.
I mean, there's not a lot of like rivalries, but.
That's what I'm thinking. There's no like really like set rivalry.
Ron and the officials. Great rivalry.
Please. Don't get my blood boiling, man.
I can't think of a
few
rivalry now though. I don't see any.
You can't think of a rivalry?
Mavs Suns, Mavs on that record.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I got one for you, and maybe it's because I live in Philadelphia. Philly, Boston. We hate Boston. Philly hates Boston. Boston hates Philly. And I'm telling you,
the only thing is Embiid hurts that one when he says we haven't beat them yet. So how's it a rivalry?
But
the hatred is there for sure.
Oh, Danny.
Oh man,
it's a rivalry, Joel.
Yeah, but the reason I can't think of a current established.
I think there's a couple that are like budding rivalries
in the league.
I don't think Grizzlies Warriors.
Yeah,
that's
I was gonna say that because the chirp
way better than Boston, LA.
Yes, it really is.
Oh my god,
LA hasn't been good in the past few years, so
yeah, that's the only problem.
Jordan,
Celtics Bucks is probably better than Celtics Lakers right now.
Jordan, I'm not trolling when I say this, and you're gonna think I'm trolling. I'm not trolling when I say this. I swear to you. I would willing to bet. I'll give anybody the bet, and they got 10 years to pay me. So if you tell me you're broke, that's fine. You ain't got to pay me until 2030 anyway. Here's the bet. I will bet you the Lakers do not sniff a Western Conference championship until 2030. So I'll give you all the 2020s that are left. 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 27, 28, 29. They're going to stink for 7 more years. And I'll take you guys $100.
By that time, LeBron will probably be way gone. Will probably be retired.
You should retire.
That's part of the point because life after
they'll be
LeBron
younger.
Is gonna be
really I know,
bad.
but still, LA is that team that players want to come to. So young players, might come.
No, it's not.
Yes,
not anymore.
Then who are the Celtics?
They go anywhere now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have that rivalry that you
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something
had.
real quick. I want you to Google something for me, Jordan. Do you have your computer up?
I have I do, yeah.
State tax in California.
Well, okay, I see that. Okay, state tax.
They go play in Texas. They're going to play in
But
Florida.
I'm talking as far as storied franchise, being a part of that legacy.
Yeah, but that Lakers story
that legacy's
hasn't been
gone,
great
man.
In years, man.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay, California state tax.
It's wild, bro.
Back in the day, a dude like Giannis wouldn't stay in Milwaukee because what would be the benefit of it? But now he can stay in Milwaukee. He'll be a big star, like global star. So no need.
Yeah, I remember we had this same conversation a couple of weeks ago on that topic of owning the franchise and things like that. And I said, why would you why would these players go somewhere with this huge state taxes when you can go to
7.25%,
Florida or some of these places there where ain't no state tax?
You sound like
and make most of your money.
Says statewide tax rate in California is currently at 7.25%.
7.25%.
In most areas, California, statewide tax rate is 7.25%.
Okay, and then check federal tax rate in the state of California.
Yeah, because you got to be close to 30% after all that.
I'll tell you right now, in California, they're turning California into Canada. It's becoming more expensive to live in California. And then they go, oh, yeah, everybody gets $17 an hour.
Yeah, because you're paying taxes on it. Yeah.
And another draw for LA back in the day was
the marginal tax 22%.
You don't even need to be in Hollywood to be
30% of your money.
Yeah.
And state tax in Miami is 0.
That's another thing her in LA, Jordan.
Wait, so this one says state is 5.9. So it's different than the other number for state. It says California federal is 22%, and then the state is 5.97%. Still, that's a lot.
So we're looking at 30% tax.
Yeah.
You sign $100 million contracts, really 70.
Yeah.
30 million going into government. Guys, I think that the biggest rivalry in the NBA is Boston, Philadelphia. And I think the Golden State, Memphis is second. And I think that Boston, Milwaukee is third. Like, I don't care. You can go Philadelphia, Brooklyn. You can go. It doesn't matter. The Lakers versus themselves. That's a top 5 rivalry. The
Freaking out the damn
fans,
roster.
fans versus delusion. It's crazy. Y'all delusional people.
But Lakers fans?
Yes. Y'all talk about trades. Oh, we're gonna get Buddy Hield. With who? Who is going to trade?
We're gonna get Miles Turner.
You're gonna take nobody. You got no first-round draft picks. You have no assets. Nothing.
Wait, you don't want Austin Reeves?
Oh, I think he's hurt.
I mean,
Just wild.
No.
He could have been played. I still wouldn't want him. But it's all good.
Oh my god!
And at every trade target, every time a player is like, there's like a trade target. Like y'all just got excited over Herzonia.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Herzonia.
Come on, we gotta respect the dude's name, man. Rory Hachimura, man.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and then he had the one game with 12 points, which
Wait, what do you
had the same amount the same night.
What is his name? How do you pronounce his name?
Hachimura had 6 points against the Celtics. So good luck with that one.
I mean,
Y'all thought Thomas Bryant was the second coming of Dwight Howard. He had 3 points in that game.
I didn't say that.
Y'all were so excited for Thomas Bryant.
Thomas Bryant, he had his own until AD got back.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, and I'm saying we should have beat y'all the other night, but that's a whole different category topic. Come on, Freddie.
Freddie came in and just put the fire emojis. He has no idea we're trashing the Lakers right now. He just popped in to be like, "Oh, I'm supporting the show." Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. We talking about your Lakers.
Stop, my God. Here we go.
I guess because of this one, yeah.
Wait, Daniel, are you a Lakers fan? You said no chance.
No, he's a Dolphins fan.
No, I'm saying for NBA. He said
I don't know who he is. I would say he's all Philadelphia outside of Miami.
They would have given up TNT.
Oh, I remember that crap too.
Yeah, I think he's all Philadelphia outside of Dolphins. Danny's
Miami will win the Super Bowl before freaking
Freddie, no troll. I'm dead serious. Guys, all right, so correct me if I'm wrong. Kyle's not a troll, Brian's not a troll. If you had to say yes or no, will the Lakers reach it Western Conference Finals before 2030? Would you say yes or no?
No. Because I mean, I don't think they're doing it with LeBron. If you're saying LeBron's going to play like another 3 years, after that, it's going to get real dark in LA.
What do you think, Brian?
Bro, I don't think
2030.
I wouldn't even take it. I wouldn't take the bet. I got no faith in the Lakers organization, man.
I'm predicting that far because you have no assets, Freddie.
Yeah.
It's literally a dumpster fire. LeBron destroys organizations.
I'm just
in here taking LeBron's gone. Then you still got to deal with AD and figure out what that's going to be.
I'm just in here getting
a rebuild.
I'm just in here getting attacked in this.
George, can I ask you a question real quick? You're gonna say some dumb shit, but I'll give you the opportunity. I'm gonna ask you a question. Can you tell me how the Lakers are going to make the Western Conference Finals by 2030? Like, what year is it going to be? How? It's going to be this year?
Well, think about it. Depending on if we keep Russell Westbrook and don't trade him this year, his contract will be done.
So now y'all want to keep him?
No, I'm saying this. I'm saying like if the Lakers decide to keep him,
to get it off the books, I got you.
His contract will be up, so we'll get some younger assets. We could trade AD. Shit could happen in the offseason. So,
yeah,
I mean that contract can free up some money to find some likable targets. So I'm not gonna like that guy. Why give me that look, bro? Targets? I don't know if it's gonna be on the goddamn free market. I don't know. Miles Turner, No, I'm saying, but I don't know who's gonna be on the free list.
I got you.
So when
I pulled it up.
When Bron and AD are gone, can we bring in players through free agency? I mean,
I'm not trolling, bro. You have to build a whole team through free agency. What nucleus are they're gonna work with? Why would a player go to LA just because you're gonna spend money? These other teams have young players nucleus. They have I'm not trolling. I'm dead serious. And when I'm right,
Gene put $100 on his bet. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to take the bet yet. I don't know.
Well, look,
Right, so
they've done it before.
Bro, I'm going to read you out the 2023 free agent class.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear that. Okay.
Russell Westbrook, there you go. Chris Middleton, he is a player option.
He's injury prone. All right.
Is he coming to LA? Chris Middleton?
LA should want him then if he's injury prone.
Oh my god.
Hold on, is he coming to LA?
I don't know. Maybe he's that's a good shooter.
No. No.
Kyrie.
Yes. Coming to LA.
So Kyrie's going to play Russell Westbrook. Go play with LeBron again.
I mean, that was supposed to happen.
Kristaps Porzingis. James Harden. Kevin Love. D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, possibly. He played on them a couple years
Why
ago.
was already there after what they did to him?
No. Oh,
Nikolai
done
Vucevic
this year apparently. Oh, Vucevic.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I could see Vucevic being an LA target.
And that is why they'll not make the Western Conference.
Yeah, he's not going to change anything, but I could see him being a Laker target.
That's my point, though.
It's gonna
Where
be a
are they
complete
spending that
rebuild.
$40 million, bro? Where?
Well, how much were the Lakers?
They replacing
How
Westbrook?
much would the Lakers get when Russell? How much money will we get? Like
$44 million.
Oh,
yeah, he's
man.
saying how would you spend it? And if you're bringing in Kyrie, how much are you giving Kyrie out of that 44?
That's it.
He taking all of it. That's it. You're replacing Russell with Kyrie.
I mean, that's.
Kyrie
I wouldn't.
That probably gets you where?
Kyrie, 40-year-old LeBron, and street.
Is DeMar DeRozan free agent or no?
Yo, listen,
Nah.
you're in all the group chats, Freddie. We're about to wrap up. You can hop on and get embarrassed. I don't mind. Don't lie to yourself.
The West is young. Yeah, I mean, Daniel has a point. The West is young, and these young cats don't care about.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they're
get that.
young
I
and
get
talented, which the Lakers aren't.
I mean, they have some, but they got Max.
I dare you to name somebody.
Max Christie has potential.
It's all right.
Max Christie.
Bro, who's disrespecting you? I said you will get destroyed. You will get embarrassed. I'm not disrespecting you. I love you, Freddie. Freddie, you're my family. But Freddie, you thinking that the Lakers are going to do something by 2030 is embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
So you're saying if the Lakers don't get the Western Conference Finals, and between now and 2030,
I'll pay you $100.
So if the Lakers make it to the conference final this year,
ain't nobody making it this year. They might not even make the playoffs this year. So you really make
they're gonna be a playing team.
Before you make it,
I'm sure.
You got to pay me for the 2 points you already lost. Seriously, remember the Rams are going to be better than the Eagles this year? I remember that bet.
Oh, I talking about Freddie.
For it. I was there for it. Now he's a Giants fan.
Oh
my God. Bet up?
Yo, Freddie, Gene just called your quarterback trash, garbage.
There we go.
So how do you feel?
Here we go. We don't get cheated 4 times this past 2 weeks. We're six.
Oh man.
I mean, hey.
No, you might as well become a bank.
No.
All they did was bitch about the refs too.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
It's 8:20, fellas. We already 20 minutes past time. I appreciate y'all hopping in and tuning in to Cheap Seats. It's funny because we got the most listeners right now, live listeners. Want to stay for 5-10 more minutes? I don't care, boys.
I don't care, really. We can stay for 10 minutes.
To be, man. We can stay on here.
There's no Monday Night Football left. There's no.
Freddie, hop on, bro.
Please, Freddie, hop on, my brother.
You're more than welcome to. It's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something.
Realistic.
Wait, are we staying on for another 10 minutes or whatever? Are we serious about that? All right.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't got nothing to do.
Look,
play Warzone.
He's at work.
Okay.
My point being is this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Lakers fans.
Daniel, yes, it's every Monday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Dan, you can hop on whenever you want. I love Daniel.
Daniel, come on now, man.
I wish I could get Danny on a podcast. Love that, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. You think I know a lot about the NFL? Do you think that the NFL?
Oh yeah, your mind is the football is out of this world. Yeah.
That guy will give me a run for my money on NFL. You see how quick he came up with those names, and he didn't even know we had the topic.
Oh yeah,
I'm changing
right
dates.
away. Yeah.
Oh,
He just had
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh man, I'm glad I'm done with them days.
I thought that he changed it. Like he's about to get into the Ready podcast mode. Like he's changing, baby. But no, I got.
change it, baby.
I'm coming on live, baby.
Oh man,
Freddie, listen, I'm gonna give you some Freddie facts. I am the most well-rounded sports guy that you've ever dealt with in your life. That's some Freddie facts for you.
Damn, man.
I'm changing, baby.
Changing.
I can't. I'm hurt, y'all.
No,
that's hilarious, man.
Since they're on for a couple, another 10.
If you don't stop friggin' eating and talking in the mic, I'm gonna smack you.
No, but I'm gonna get serious real quick because I know this is a sports podcast show, but like we can't just forget like the whole Memphis, Tyree Nichols. I know John Morant voiced frustration. I'm not gonna get all into it, but it's just that we as a society, as a sports world, have to come together. I mean, we had Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I know the NBA has done a good job with social justice causes, but I know John Morant came out and spoke about it, and it hurts, man. It hurts knowing a brother died at the hands of police. I mean, I just want to go around the room and just give your thoughts on the whole as a sports world. And
I mean, you said it, because the sports world, especially NBA, which is
because we try not to we try not to mix social stuff into like basketball or sports, but it's hard not to. You know what I'm saying? That's how to intertwine those two things, because sports was you're supposed to come around to family and friends for watch games, but when shit like this happens, I mean, you can't just ignore it.
Well, yeah, because there's certain pockets of the country and the world that don't like seeing athletes speak out about social issues, and I've always said, you strip away the athlete, you still got a human.
Right.
And as a human, you're allowed to react to stuff like this. So if you have an issue with it, that's on you. Because I'll never, kill a player for speaking their mind and explaining and all that. That's their right. And anybody who tries to shut them up because of that, because they're just an athlete, no, you miss me with that. But
right.
With all this, it's kind of something that we've seen. It's just a institution of police that it's a broken system. Any adjective you want to tie onto that, it fits, because it's stuff that shouldn't be happening. You can't have 5-6 cops rolling up on somebody. I don't care if they're resisting or whatever. That doesn't mean that you get the right to end the person's life and then helps on the way and you're slowing all that up and all. No, I mean, it's so stupid, because for people it's very simple. All you gotta do is respect each other and just love each other.
Right.
But we see a lot of these stories where that's not involved in any of it.
Mm-hmm. Before Gina and Brian said, I was gonna say, like, it's just like the thing that made me sick to my stomach was there were African American cops too that did it. Or majority. Huh?
Oh, why does that make you sick to your stomach?
Because we're this not sports stuff out the way real quick. I mean, the fact that we are incarcerated, or African Americans are incarcerated more for black on black crime, and the fact it says black officers, they should know better.
I think it makes me sick to my stomach to any officer,
or like any officer. But
I think that this is a type of police brutality that I lock them up and throw away the key. And I'm going to be clear with you. I think that everyone upset over what happened has every right to be upset over what happened. I am just happy that the police department is handling this swiftly. They're doing everything that they should be doing in this scenario. This is what we've been calling for. This is the call to justice that we want. We want justice. Like, we realize there's going to be awful things that happen in this world. No one wants to admit that or see that.
Mhm.
But I think the thing that is so important is that the consequences are stronger than ever. I think that everyone needs to understand this. This is murder, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
And it should be treated that way. And I think that when everything happened with George Floyd, and I hate saying it this way, but this was the first time where I feel like, listen, George Floyd passing away is not a win for anybody, but is a win for the justice system for how they handled the situation.
Mhm.
I think it's a win for a justice system that they handle this as swiftly and to the fullest extent of the law. Because there's going to be shitty things that happens in this world, and no one wants to see that, admit that. No one, what happened is awful.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that there's justice, and justice has prevailed.
Oh, I agree.
Because Jordan, I couldn't disagree with you more. Whether they were black or white, I'll tell you right now, if it was 6 white cops, I think it'd be a million times worse.
Oh, 100%.
So when you say, look, for the sake of the country, I'm not saying that I'm happy that it's African American cops versus white cops, but I'm telling you right now, if that was 6 white cops, this shit would send me.
Well, I think the sixth guy that got charged today was a white guy. He's the one that the guy that had the taser, but the rest are black. But I think that's the reason. I mean, I didn't mean it as a case.
No, I get it. I'm just
I was just saying.
You see something like
George Floyd should have been the last kind of like that big, that last big, cop, civilian killing. But
and Jordan, I understand where you're coming from, because
it's like
when you do see that, man, these are black cops knowing what people have been
through,
chanting and marching and doing everything else. As a black man and black police officer, you still go out there and do the same thing that you hear black people talking about. So I get where you're coming from, Jordan. Like I said, I understand this, because end of the day, black, white really don't matter. But
agreed.
As a black man and a black police officer, you should know the pressures that you are under, because you got a lot of black people looking at these cops and like, yo, you know what the cops doing, and you still choosing, because I've heard this, you still choosing to be a police officer. So it's like you already under scrutiny, and you still go out and do some messed up stuff like this. It's like, when is it going to stop? Who knows? It's a hope and a prayer, because I just know, I remember growing up going to play basketball, and I'm getting cops rolling over to me and my buddy, patting us down, throwing us against the police cars. I'm like, man, I'm 13-year-old straight A student going to play basketball. Talking about what you got on you, what the drugs, what the guns. It's like, you patting me down, you don't see nothing. Can I go now? So, like I said, it's been going on, and that's the sad part, that nothing has changed, even with George Floyd. You got more cameras out that's catching stuff, which is good, but we still got to have some kind of change to come from it, because it's still too many times the same crap is happening. And I think that's the part that really grinds at you. It's like, come on, man. When what's going to be enough?
Right. Yeah. When I think some, like, basically all the news outlets released I didn't even want to watch it. I watched a little bit of it.
No.
I was like, I don't.
If anybody listening that hasn't watched it, don't.
Yeah. The only part that made me sad was he was calling his mama, and
bro.
And speaking of news outlets, the whole Whitlock part of this story as well, because I know Jonathan Mathis put it in the group chat, because I saw it before that, but he's another dude that in all this is just a clown for his take on, black police chief. This is what you get. That's like a black woman or whatever, basically pinning it on her for how these. I couldn't deal with it. And I mean, I was never a fan of Whitlock because I kind of understand the side of the street that he's going to come from whenever he speaks about anything. So didn't surprise me that he went that way, but I just don't understand why people still put a microphone in front of his face, acting like he's some voice of reason or something.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah, but
gentlemen, it's 8:30. We got to wrap up. We're an hour and a half in. I appreciate Jordan you bringing that up.
Yes, definitely
needs as much notoriety and conversation piece that we can have.
Sure.
Fun show.
The barbershop.
Fun show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Cheap Seats. We'll come back at you next Monday with some more topics. Get ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I was saying I'm gonna say my picks, but Chiefs Eagles.
What?
No, I'm gonna say like usually I'm so used to like going through picks and stuff. Like it's gonna be like 49ers Eagles, 49ers Ravens. I'm just so like, all right, but it's set in stone. Chiefs and Hughes. I'm so used to do my like
it's set in stone, bro.
No, I'm saying.
My man said I was going to give you my picks. I'm going Chiefs Eagles. The game happened yesterday, dog.
No, I'm saying it's like me and
I'll give you my picks. I'm going Chiefs Eagles.
No, I'm saying I meant like me and Colin. Then we do the Big Three podcast. We do the predictions for next week. Yeah, we're saying, who's going to make the Super Bowl? I'm like, so we have our set teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. I don't have who's going to win yet, but they're the set teams.
Daniel, I hope we see you next week.
All right, I'm out, man. Shit. Mike's dropping.
You in on that one right there, bro.
Yeah.
In on it.
Good night, everybody.